Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is March 20th, 2025. More than 5 years of Torah every single weekday, finding each other all across the world, wishing each other a good morning, seeing how we're doing, praying for our people, praying for the world, and learning some Torah. Let's see who's here so we can start the day as we have been blessed to 1,265 times. Susie, Michelle, Anna, good morning. It's good to see all of you. Joyce, Boker Tov. Peter, Boker Tov, back to you, blessed friend. Tracy and Janice, Penny, thank you so much. Anava, good to see you. Sandy, Mazel Tov, I saw the picture of you and Steve. It is your 43rd anniversary today. Today's Torah is for you, my friend. Cecile, good to see you. Linda, Arlene, you are sending greetings from Herzliya. Hineni. You make me smile so much. Thank you so much for that. Natalia and Fran, Ashley and Andrew, Tara, good morning. It's good to see all of you. Shari, sending loving and healing thoughts your way as you are in the hospital from a complication from surgery. Please, God, you should heal completely, speedily. Thank you for sharing with us what's going on for you so that we can be there for you. Jack and Lisa, Robin, good morning. Saul, it's good to see you. Rabbi Isaiah Rothstein, it has been far too long. Good to see you, my friend. Toby, nice to see you too. Debbie and Natalie, Jonathan and Rose, Arlene, good morning. You saw the movie October 8th yesterday. I've heard that it is a very, very well designed and urgently necessary film. I hope everyone sees it. Deborah and Cindy, Minna, Anya, good morning. If I missed anyone, my apologies. Catherine, good to see you. Glenna, welcome, welcome. Let's take a breath, sing a bracha, learn some Torah. Here we go. Good morning, friends. It's broadcast 1265. It is day 531 since October 7th. There are a lot of places to begin. One of them is, I hope that you and yours are safe and well. Arlene just shared that she was in a Ma'amad, a bomb shelter, or Miklat, at 4 a.m. this morning in Jerusalem, as was my daughter, and in Tel Aviv, because the threat was a ballistic missile fired from Yemen, from the Houthis. So too, I believe, were my sister and her family in Tel Aviv. I begin with all of this because if we're to talk Torah, And we are to truly think about how the guidance from this week's Parsha must be applied to our consciousness. It is both about remembering our history, standing for our people, acknowledging our vulnerability, fighting back, but also taking responsibility for leaders who lead us responsibly. And as is the case right now in Israel, because I follow the lead of the hostage families, first and foremost, they are the Rebbes of our time, fighting for their children, for our family, in a way that we all can learn from. That's responsibility. And to increase the likelihood, God forbid, of the loss of our beloved hostages, and to increase the likelihood of attacks on mainland Israel is reprehensible. And when we look at this week's Parsha, we understand what a leader must have. I'll read you just a little bit from this week's Parsha. Moshe said to the Israelites, God has singled out by name Bitzalel ben Uri, the son of Hur, from the tribe of Yehudah. God has endowed him with a divine spirit of skill, ability, and knowledge in every kind of craft, and has inspired him to make designs for work in gold, silver, and copper, to cut stones for setting, to carve wood, to work in every kind of designer's craft, and to give directions. There are a few elements here. There's one last part of this that I want to make sure I point out, which is that as soon as the description of Bitzalel is done, Bitzalel appoints helpers, Aholiav and Achisamach, from a different tribe. What does it mean to have a very dense description, a detailed description of Bitzalel, the chief architect of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle? By the way, the word Bitzalel might be familiar to you because the most famous artists' academy in Israel is called the Bitzalel Academy, named after the ancient artist. It's now part of UJA's Jerusalem campus, the Center for the Arts. We're very proud to be associated with this. Bitzalel is singled out by God. His name even is B'Tselel, in the shadow of God. And we are told that God has given him significant gifts. He can, I would say he's a Renaissance man, but the Renaissance hadn't happened yet. What he is incredibly skilled, multidisciplinary artist. And he also knows how to share the work. He might be the chief designer. He might have the most brilliant artistic mind of his generation. He might even have the appointment by God, but he knows that if he doesn't share power and design, it all stays locked up in his brain, or at best, incomplete in manifestation. Meaning, what is the point of wielding power, artistic, military, political, if it isn't for the common good? And we must take responsibility because we all have the capacity to serve as leaders in the world. You might not think of yourself using the term leader, but according to Howard Gardner, who is a leading theorist on leadership itself, says leadership is really about influencing someone else. And all of us influence someone else, even if we don't think about it in such ways. How you walk down the street is an act of leadership. How you respond to someone when they speak to you is an act of leadership. Bitzalel, yes, was the main builder and craftsperson, but he didn't act alone. Not in this case, and perhaps never. And that's why he was worthy of sculpting and carving and shaping our sacred center. In fact, if you look at what the Mishkan's function is, yes, it is the place where God speaks to Moshe and Aaron from between the Kruvim, from between these two angels in the Holy of Holies. But it is essential to remember that the function of the Mishkan is the institution of the state. We have just become a nation, and it is the center of the camp. When we have a question that we cannot answer, we face it. And the Mishkan was a temporary Holy of Holies. When the Jerusalem temples were built, even though we've lost them, That Holy of Holies became permanently located in Jerusalem. We know where our center is, and our responsibility as students of Bezalel is to maintain the solidity of the functions of the state. As Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel said about the state of Israel in a book called Israel, an Echo of Eternity, he said, "There is nothing inherently holy about the land of Israel. It is the testing ground to see whether or not we will be holy. Only when we have self-determination can we figure out who we really are. And we are held to a high standard, certainly. But it is a standard that is worthy of the sacrifices of our ancestors. What would the purpose of building the Mishkan from gold and silver and copper and dolphin skins and lapis lazuli, all the artistry, what would the purpose be if it were needlessly endangered and the people who serve it were not taken care of? We have a responsibility to maintain our camp. Another way of saying that is to defend our nation. Another way of saying that is make sure that responsible leaders are the ones who wield power. The consent of the governed might be, a concept more reflected in the notions of American democracy, even though that itself is a complicated concept sometimes. But this social contract, this is something that we need to take seriously. In the Torah, God appoints Bezalel. In our world, who appoints our leaders, our artists? They might have skills, but who appoints them? We do. One of the big shifts from the priesthood before the destruction of the temple in 70 CE to what we now call modern Judaism, which is based on a notion of rabbis, not only, is that anyone could become a rabbi. This is a shared authority system. We cannot cede authority, nor can we sit quietly and witness when it is mismanaged. I know this is a complicated message. In the 531 days since October 7th, it has been a complicated message, but we are Jews. It has always been a complicated message. How do we self-govern? How do we manage through the world, given the diversity of opinions, the complexity of external threats? How do we do this? Well, we turn to artists, and another way of saying artist is intuitive human being, someone who walks B'Tselel in the shadow of God, which means I'm never in front. I don't generate my own light. None of us does. We are in the shadow of God, and we must see ourselves in the shadow of God. Another way of saying that is the light that we are blessed to have in our lives, the gifts that some of us have and hold are meant to be deployed for the sake of the community, stabilizing the very center of our nation. Without that, it all falls apart, no matter how shiny any part of it might be. It is important. It is truly important to see that B'Tselel, the image of God, can be channeled through human activity. But that is a choice we must continue to make. Whether we are wielding dolphin skins, lapis lazuli, or an army, we need to make sure that the decisions being made are worthy of generations to come. And so I bless us, first of all, to remember our capacity as leaders. It's not an easy thing. I bless us to be strong and to stand with the families of the hostages, to stand with the tens of thousands of Israelis who took to the streets yesterday and today. In their exhaustion, they showed up proudly waving Israeli flags, claiming the right, which is theirs, ours, to be Am Chofshi Be'artzenu, to be a free people in our land. I bless you, friends. I bless you and me to remember our responsibilities in the world, to act artfully. In the final interview that Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel ever gave, he was asked, I hear you have a message for the children, for the youth of today. And Rabbi Heschel looked at the screen and said, remember to live your lives and to make your life a work of art. We are all B'Tzalel. We are all works of art. And we deserve to have artful, intuitive, responsible leaders who steward us into good moments of history. May we be so blessed. Hold all of the hostages with me, friends. Hold all of them. I'm glad, just in this moment, to call out my beloved friend, Judy Kaftal, who's here. She was honored last night by among the most beautiful communities in the world. Shalva is an organization in Israel that stands on its own and receives significant support from UJA and from countless people around the world to help mainstream children and families with any developmental or emotional or spiritual needs. The vulnerabilities that we all carry sometimes are in the extreme. And it is led by phenomenal human beings, founded by a walking angel whose name is Kalman Samuels. Judy was honored last night at the Shalva Gala. So I'm so glad that you're here. So I get to say Mazel Tov to you for carrying us forward. That's art. That is artful. That is noble. It is intuitive. Let's take a breath. Let's sing. Send our hearts to the east. Kol hod balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends. Bye.